Hey BookTube, here's a bit of a rant about audiobooks.
I got my ticket for the long way round.
You know, I don't really like to complain. I don't like to listen to other people complain, and the older I get, the less and less I like to hear myself complain. And I catch myself and I think, really, do you need to do that? Well, once in a while you need to address things that bug you. And I have two issues about audiobook production that bug me. So I wanted to share those with you and kind of get your thoughts on them too. The first issue is when a publisher will put out a print book, but they won't put out the audiobook, or they will put out a series in print, but they won't put all of the books out on audio. My first experience with this was in the Conquered Earth series by J. Barton Mitchell. Kirby Heyborne does the narration for the first two books in that series. It's a trilogy. The third book hasn't come out on audio. I don't know why the publisher didn't put it out on audio. I'm sure it has something to do with the monetary success of the trilogy as a whole, or more specifically, the first two audiobooks, how popular they were and how well they sold. But that's just wrong. Why would you do that to your audiobook listeners? That is such a disservice that they do to us. Another example is in the trilogy, the Lies Beneath trilogy by Greenwood Brown. MacLeod Andrews narrates the first book in that series, which is Lies Beneath. There are two successive books making it a trilogy, and neither one is available on audio. Why? Why would you put the first one out on audio and not the second and third books? Was the trilogy not popular enough to do? Was the book only contracted for 3 print books and no audiobooks, or maybe an audiobook based on, again, the monetary success of it? You know, it just irks me. It irks me that if you're going to commit to one of the books in a trilogy or in a series, you should commit to all of them on audio. Profit margins aside, it annoys me, and I think they do, again, the audiobook community a huge disservice when they pull that kind of a stunt. My other issue happens some of the time, but not all the time, and there are two situations in which it happens, and that is when you get a print book or a Kindle book released, and then you don't get the audiobook released until far later. You have to wait some number of months to get it. There is plenty of time between the final edit and the release of a print book for them to get a narrator into a studio and narrate the book and release it at the same time. I don't think there's any excuse for that in the publishing world. I don't know why it happens. If you know why it happens, please fill me in, because I would love to know. The other situation is when you have a self-published author and they wait. Now that I have a lot more forgiveness for, because that self-published author is having to shell out the money to pay for the narrator and the narration very often. Sometimes they'll contract with a publisher, but I have a lot more grace for that situation where the print book or the Kindle book comes out and then you have to wait for the audiobook. In those cases, you often will get a very good narration of the audiobook, so it's worth waiting. But it still irks me. It still irks me that you have to wait all this time. So those are two of the issues in audiobook production that really annoy me to no end. If you know any of the reasons why this happens, or if you have any input as to why publishers do this, then I would love to hear it. I would love to get a decent reason as to why these happen. Does it irk you? Do you care? I mean, does this affect you at all? I want to know that too. So let's talk about that in comments, and that's it for now from me. I will see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching.
When I'm gone, you're gonna miss me when I'm gone. You're gonna miss me by my walk. You're gonna miss me by my talk. Oh, you're gonna miss me when I'm gone.